welcome to the Dream Career Freedom podcast. Listeners, thank you for being here today and the audience who's watching as well. My intention through today's episode is to encourage individuals worldwide to recognize your true potential and believe in yourselves. And it's the only podcast that focuses on intentionality. Hi, I'm Fatima Williams, your host and career growth strategist at the DCF Academy. And I want to tell you today that this podcast aims at helping you understand how you can get through the challenges that you have, where we talk to successful career professionals from all over the world who have raised awareness and are ready to pass the baton on. Our goal is to help career professionals to follow their dream career path and give them tips and strategies on how you can get there. So today we have with us Daniel Gesser, and he is from Zurich, Switzerland. He is a businessman, a loving husband, a former drunk for about 30 years, and also he had a lot of challenges that he faced to become the person he is today. And what drives him? He loves helping people. He loves seeing people become fantastic human beings and being amazed at what is actually possible. And when he saw in his own life what's possible when we dare ask for help, and he saw the transformation that happened, he wanted to go ahead and do it with other people. Now, his purpose is to see the world as what it is, the paradise, and that life is such a gift. I'm super excited to talk to him today on the podcast. So, I want to thank our guest today, Daniel Gesser, for being here on the Dream Career Freedom podcast. And I can't wait to hear about his transformational journey. Can you tell us today a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Fatima. First of all, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here. What do you want to know? I mean, I'm 51 years old. I have a lot of experience. And just ask me questions and I will answer them.
Sounds good. So, our podcast aims at helping people understand how we can use our full potential. So, intentionality are basically characteristics of an individual that has goals, desires, and habits, and select behaviors that help them. It's to go towards that goal. It's a conscious call to an awareness state. So, do you practice intentionality? And if yes, how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Whether we do it consciously or not, we do it all the time. We have intentions all the time. We produce outcome all the time. We have, if we think negatively, the outcome will be negative. If we think positively, the outcome will be positive. So when I discovered that, it was all new to me, and I was like, yeah, this is all some hippie crap or some esoteric, I don't know what. And because we are in a world of Newton physics still, we live in these laws, and this law says that we are separate entities in our environment, and basically we can only react to events happening in our environment. As though in a quantum physics way of looking at the world, it's one space. We are one with the universe. This is only just one space. So everything we do, everything we think, everything we feel, everything we're not even aware of feeling or thinking will have an impact on our environment and will have an impact on the universe directly. So yes, intention is everything. If you want to achieve something, if you want to learn how to swim, and you say, this is not going to work, I'm going to drown. Guess what? The outcome will not be very successful. But if your clear intention is to achieve something and you really want it deeply, not just something on the surface, I want to have a nice car, I want to have a lot of money to show off, this is not going to work. But if your goal is driving you, if it's emotionally there, chances are, if you do everything for it, that it's going to happen. And just to mention, there are some theories that say that you just have to set the intention and then everything falls into place.
Yes.
We have still to take action. We still have to move. We still have to do things, to make connections, to talk to people, to create things. So the intention alone is not going to achieve the result, but the intention is key.
Yes, yes.
And how I do it, I meditate every morning. It's now 20 past 6 in the morning. You ask me if I'm a morning person. I told you yes. I stand up at 4 a.m. every morning and I meditate for 1 hour at least. So just to set myself in the right mood. It's like, the mind always thinks and the emotions are always there. We don't have really control over them because they're just there. It's like breathing. It's like having a big nose or a small nose. It's just there. It's human being trait. So the thing is not to fight them or to control them, but the thing is to understand them and to set them into the right place. So, and meditation has been proven for thousands and thousands of years to be highly effective for that. This is how I do it. And during the day, if I have a setback or something bad happens, or I always ask instantly, what did I do wrong? I don't blame the world for having sent me a bad event. So, but bad event is because of me. It must have something to do with me, with my behavior, with my mood, with my emotions, with my thinking, and though with my acting, of course. So I always ask, okay, why this event is happening? What did I do? What could I do better? And usually the answer comes right away, because if you train to do that all the time, you get the answer. You say, okay, this is, oh, wow, that's why this event is coming to me now. Okay, I got it.
You got it.
So yeah, sorry.
Jack Canfield always says events plus responses is equal to outcomes. So, whatever the event is, our response to it creates the outcome. So I think you pretty much explained that with the example that you gave just now.
Yeah, it's not even we provoke the event. It goes even a step further. It's not only how we react to event, but we ask the question why this event is happening. No, what I was trying to say is that it's not only our reaction to the event. This is also, but we create the event. This goes a step further. So we provoke the event in the first place. Even if we don't believe it, even if something's happening, but somehow, even if it's 20 years ago or I don't know what, but somehow we have always a part in these events, always, in every event. So what I said is that if we know that, we can ask ourselves, how did I provoke this event? Whether positive or negative, doesn't matter really.
So we've set the intention anyways, right?
Yes, and by doing this regularly, we kind of automatically set other events, because we know we provoke events. So we are more careful in what we think, in what we feel, in how we are. And then, of course, if you want to be more positive and you want to have a better life, you focus on that. So you will slowly but surely provoke better events by attracting other people, by focusing on other things. So you see things differently. Instead of, for example, seeing a problem, you see an opportunity. Or instead of seeing a huge challenge, you see, oh, there is something to learn, etc., etc. So by changing that, you change the events that come to you.
Great. It's always important to have absolutely, Daniel. It's always very important to have a learner's mindset when it comes to reacting to situations or looking at what we want to take out from that outcome. For me, inspiring people are a celebration to the world every single day. And I believe that there is room for everyone to succeed. And, having started this coaching journey exclusively for the last 2 years, there's one thing that I learned is everybody has so much of potential in them, but they are always coming in on a feeling of lack, as in not looking at their achievements, but looking at what they missed out on and what did they not get in their life. The missed out opportunities or the opportunities they didn't get when they were growing up young. And that's the reason why this podcast aims at passing the baton on. So do you think it's important for experts such as yourself and career experts, professionals who are successful, to pass the baton on to people? Do you think it's important?
What do you mean by that?
Passing on our lessons, our successes, our failures, sharing we learned from our failures so that they can learn from our career journey, from our experiences.
Yes, of course. That's how the world works, right? I had a conversations with my father lately,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind of frustrated that at certain things, like for example, IT, he wasn't as good as me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about that, and I said to him, but listen, isn't that the goal of the world, that the son is a little bit better than the father? Isn't that how we progress? Isn't that how we evolve?
Yeah,
So by passing his values on to me and me evolving that and passing it on, the world becomes slowly but surely a better place. If it were the
absolutely.
other way around, that the father is always better than the son, the world would be great. So yes, passing the baton on is a key aspect of humanity, of course.
I love that. What is that one thing that allowed you to take that leap of faith and do what you finally wanted to do? What was that one thing that allowed you to say, yes, let me do it, let me go for it?
Car accident. A car accident.
A car accident. Okay.
Yes. I
Wow.
was drunk. I hit the wall full frontally, and I should have at least been injured, but I just walked away.
Wow.
That was my key experience to say, okay, I have to change something in my life. I have to stop drinking. I have to become the man I'm meant to be. And who am I? And what man I am meant to be in the first place. So, but that was the key event.
The key event.
And yes, I provoked.
You had the wake up call. Dr. Joe Dispenza always says, he's written the book Supernatural, that people always wait for some disease or some event or some tragic event to make a change in their life, and that they shouldn't actually do that, and they should start seeing the signs to start making the change. And this podcast aims to help people to see the signs of, okay, this is high time, I need to wake up. So since you're a person who primarily deals with emotions, and one of the reasons why I love to get you on the podcast is, you said that emotions are our greatest power, and a lot of people neglect and bury their emotions, and you seem to be doing this primarily as a part of your coaching. You focus on that. What are the emotions that you think we should start being aware of so that we know that we are in that phase?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Because how to choose? What's a good emotion? What's an emotion to focus on? First of all, who decide what's a good emotion and what's not? If I want to be angry,
Yeah.
and I don't allow myself to be angry, especially as a man, that's not healthy. And if I'm sad and I don't allow myself to cry, but being sad and cry, it's a good emotion. Being angry and allow myself to be angry for a certain time, it's a good emotion. So every emotion is good or bad. It's not, it's just there. So every emotion is important, and there is always a reason why we're having them. So looking at all your emotions is understanding who you are.
And how can we do that? How can one person, like if you were to tell our listeners today to do something to start being aware of this, what would be that one piece of advice or nugget that you would like to give them?
So a good thing to start with is to limit poisonous substances at the absolute minimum. Mainly alcohol, because that's widely spread.
Mm-hmm.
These substances are a filter.
Yeah.
They filter away emotions. That's why a lot of people take them. And I'd say, don't be afraid of them. Your emotions are not going to kill you.
Yeah.
On the contrary, they're going to make you bigger, and they're helping you to grow. So try. Let's take anger for an example. If you're not, I mean, try to be angry. Go away from your family or go into the woods, somewhere where you can't do any harm. Because again, men, when we are angry, we can do quite some harm. We're quite powerful beings in that matter. So go for a walk and cry out loud, or hit a tree, for crying out loud, if that helps. But try to, at least for a little moment, to be with that emotions. And then you can still go back to your usual state and bury them away. But try at least to take it for a little moment and watch it. Okay, that's enough for today. And the next day you take it a little bit longer, etc., etc. But try to think about emotions as nothing harmful. Of course, they sometimes hurt, but these are just emotions. They will go away again. They're not going to kill you.
Yeah.
So try to become familiar. And as I said in the beginning, meditation is a great way to become familiar with these emotions, because a lot of people think that meditation is to not think and not feel, and to close away the mind and close away the feeling. This is not what meditation is at all. Meditation is to stay focused on breathing, for example. This is a very common meditation. And whenever the mind wanders away, just to get it back. Okay, come back. We're breathing now. And whenever emotion comes, okay, acknowledge it. It's there. It's okay. I'm meditating now. This is what meditation is. It's not to close down everything. No, not at all. And being aware and being with you, that's what meditation is.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Daniel. I love the way you put it. Can you tell us what are the habits, that helped you stay focused on this transformation journey you went, from this car wreck that you were in to the person you are today? What are the top, if you were to list 3 top habits? Now you've told us meditation, so that's one. So what is 2 more that you would tell us were the top habits that help you stay focused?
So I'm not a big fan of habits, because habits are something you have to either force yourself to do it, or you have to take something which is not for you. I'm more a fan of intrinsic motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Find your purpose, find what you're good at, find what you love to do. And you don't need any habits anymore. You do it.
So how did you do that though? Like, how did you start using intrinsic motivation to get there?
I hired someone to find out what my purpose is. As easy as that. I spent some money and I hired an expert who helped me to find my higher purpose.
And what is your high purpose?
Let's say it's to
Because,
help people.
okay, because when I was looking at your podcast show notes, you mentioned that you were looking at helping people become the powerful beings that they want to be, that they have to be, rather than just being robotic and working and being stuck in that constant loop, if I'm not wrong, right? Would you like to share a little bit more about that as to what you
Okay, so if I wrote it down, then I have to share it, right? We are energetically speaking, and also physically speaking, and spiritually speaking, we are extremely powerful beings.
Yes.
We have our frontal lobe makes 40% of our brain. This is, I think, the dolphins have a little bit more, but other than them, that's the biggest you can get on this planet. To compare, I saw your little cat by there. They have like 3%.
Yes.
Of frontal lobe, and dogs have like 7% or something like that. So
yes.
That's power. That's pure power. And we can create things. We can destroy things. We can create new worlds out of thin air. Every invention you see in humanity was a thought. I repeat that. Every invention we have now, every car, every computer, everything was initially a thought.
Yes.
So that's pure power, right?
Yes.
And I go even further. We're not this body we're in. We have this body. We're higher beings, higher consciousness, being on a journey in this vessel that we call body.
Yes.
And with this body come thoughts and emotions, of course, and other things. But it's important to acknowledge that we are not just meant to go to work for 9 to 5, pay our bills, pay our taxes, then retire, live some years, and die. That's not it. That's not human being. Human being is to be a powerful, divine, creative being. And I think it's in the Bible where it's written, we're at the image of God. That
Yes.
doesn't mean that we're all with white beard and whatever image you have of God, but that means that we are divine. That means we have God-like capabilities.
Yes.
That means we can create or destroy whatever we want. We are able to destroy our own planet. No other being has that capability, right? And
Yes.
at the same time, because I'm a positive man and I want to be the message to be positive, we can create a better planet. And if that's not really truly powerful, I don't know what is. And I think we have to wake up and we have to stop believing some people telling us that we are weak, that we have to go to see a doctor every week, otherwise we're going to die young, that we have to take medicine all the time, that we have to work our asses off, etc., etc., etc. This is all to keep us small. But we're big, we are huge. We can do whatever we want. And we're meant to be that way. This is not something new, like human being 2.0 or something like that. This is it. This is meant to be like that. I mean, look at our fantastic body. No other being on the planet has that kind of body. If you look at the bird has a wing specifically designed to fly, right?
Yes.
This hand is unspecific, totally. It's not some specific tool to do something, but to do anything and everything. So that's the message. And that's what I preach all the time. People, you're not small, you're huge. And my way to achieve that with people is to go through their emotions. Because if you see that you're the master of your emotions, the CEO, then you become truly powerful. Because then you're not the slave of your moods anymore. You don't need any alcohol to enlighten your mood or whatever. You're just it. That's human being. That's it.
So master your emotions. That's an important message that you shared today. Can you tell us, since you've been coaching for the last couple of years, what do you think is the common internal factor that stops people from doing what they love, like going on a career they love or taking that challenge that they've always wanted to do? What is that internal factor that holds people back?
Fear.
Fear.
But it's not a real fear. It's an inflicted fear by society. Oh, don't take any risk. Just do your job and be happy. But what if you're not happy with your job? So it's a designed fear, because there is only one real fear in life. It's the fear of death.
Yes.
You can break down every fear. It will finally, eventually come to the fear of death. So to fail if you try to start a business, or to fail if you try to start a job that you've never done, that's not going to kill you. You just fail. So what? It's feedback. Take it, move on. Don't be afraid. You not have to be afraid. You're the king of the planet. It's our planet. It's our natural environment. We're here. That's our world. So enjoy it. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want to be. It's you. You're God. It's it. That's it. Bam. Don't be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid. You're going to die anyway, period. Whether tomorrow, today, after tomorrow, it doesn't matter. So if you're going to die anyway, what is there to fear?
What is there to fear? Do it.
Just do it and fail again and fail again. I failed, I don't know how many times.
Susan Jeffers says, feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm reminded of that quote right now. So thank you, Daniel. So I'd like to ask you, what are your three most important values that you demonstrate on a daily basis?
Integrity, kindness, and courage.
Courage. Lovely. In your career, you must have had a lot of pivoting moments, right? Where you had to finally, let's say, I know that you started coaching, I believe this was in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So prior to this, you were into IT.
Yes, also. But I was a craftsman too. I was a driver. I'm still a businessman, but that's some business you
Yeah,
don't
I get
spread out online. You just do it. Yeah. So I did a lot of things. Yeah.
you did a lot of things. So whenever you wanted to move in to try something new, what was the most motivating thing that what helped you? Like, was it books, or was it people, or was it your own belief in yourself? Whenever you embarked on any one of these journeys, what was that one thing that pushed you forward?
Fear.
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 Okay.
Whenever fear comes, you know this is important. If you're not afraid, it's not important. But if you're shit in your pants, then you're going to have a closer look at it and see why. Wow, maybe I should go there. So
Yeah,
fear can be highly motivating
fear can be
at
highly
first. After that, you have to lose it. But to initiate the spark, fear is a good thing. Very powerful.
lovely. So you have to be careful of the fear as well. You need to finally overcome it by taking action. So when you take action and go towards that particular goal, or that whatever it is that you wanted to do, then you are overcoming that fear.
Yes, but because by hiding from your fears or by not acknowledging it, it's not going to go away. And fear is always a sign that there's something important. As a grown up, if you go to the bathroom, there's nothing to fear, right? You just do it. But if you never did it, it might frighten you a little bit to go to the big pot, if you're a small kid. So everything is overcoming fear. If you start walking, you might be afraid that you fall down and that you hurt yourself, but you still start walking. And it's a sign. Fear is a sign that there's something important. Even if it's an imaginary fear, which most of fears are. Um, if you start a business and you fail, so what? Then you failed, you start over. It's not going to kill you. So fear is a good thing to say, okay, this might be important. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah. So that gives you like an indicator of, like a checklist more of, yeah? Like, okay, this
Yeah.
is something you need to watch out.
Yeah.
Is there a name of a person that who has inspired you in your life? Is there like a person or a book that you'd like to talk about today?
Oh, always this question about the book. Many books, many books, many people.
Tell
But
us
I
one
think,
powerful book or person that really pushed you to become the person you are today.
no, not particularly. Many.
So it is a culmination of many books.
Yes.
So if you could tell our readers and listeners today to read three books that you think are the most important, what would they be?
One, your
One book.
own book. Read your own story.
Read your own
No, I'm
story.
serious. There is no book for everybody. The book that might help me will tell you nothing, right? That's why there are so many books, because it's not, my book is not for you, but the most important book is your story. So read your own book.
Great. So for professionals out there, men and women, all of the individuals who are listening, who feel currently stuck in their career and are not able to get the right job, not able to move from where they are, what is that one piece of advice that you'd like to give to them?
Um, Take a vacation and think about it. You're not going to find an alternative by just keep doing what you do. So take a break, try to meditate, or there are some questions to ask yourself what you would do if, and try to ask these kind of questions. For example, one question is, if you had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, what would you do with your life? And that's the answer. That is what you want to do. So people usually answer first, I want to travel. Okay, so you traveled all the world. What then? So keep asking these kind of questions. Okay, then I traveled all the world. What would I do then?
Mm.
And when you find something that puts a little smile on your face. That's it.
That's it.
That's your next adventure.
Lovely, lovely.
And
I love
then and then fear it and do it.
So, what is three action points that you would give them? Like, say, you said meditation, you said do this checklist, so that's two. Um, a third one that they could use to get there,
Hire a coach.
hire a coach.
The main job of a coach is to mirror yourself. We are inside our being, we are in our lives, right? We don't see everything.
Yeah.
But a coach from the outside can see other things in you. I have a coach too. I have a mentor. Whenever I'm stuck, I'm calling and say, hey, I need a call. Hire a coach.
Hire a coach. And that, I think this helps you in your continuous learning journey that you're on.
Yes, of course.
Fantastic. So, I absolutely love what you're doing actually, because you've particularly narrowed in on empowering men.
Yes.
Uh, so, is there, without mentioning any names, is there a story that you can share of somebody who transformed and, empowered themselves through your coaching? Just a short story
Well,
of how
I don't transform anybody. They transform themselves.
they transformed themselves.
Yeah, I'm not a magician or a wizard or something. I'm just inspiring people. So there was this guy, he didn't allow himself to be angry. And after my coaching, he got angry, and the result of it was that he has now a new partnership, and he has a new career, and he's happy because he got so angry that he got divorced, which was in his case a good thing because he was unhappy in that relationship, and the relationship made him angry, but he didn't allow to be angry. So how to solve that if you're not allowing the emotion to come out? So I checked him out if he's the kind of guy who beats his partner up if he gets angry. And when I checked that, no, okay, that's no danger, I advised him to become angry. If you're feeling like getting angry, then become angry. I don't say go and beat up everything. No. If you're someone like that, go to the forest or come to me or go to another specialist where
Therapy.
you can be angry in a protected area. But that guy, it was safe. So yeah. So you see, by allowing himself to live through one emotion, changed his whole life.
Yeah, so he was unhappy and he finally took control of his life through your
Yes.
coaching and training. That's great. A lot of us, we hide in a lot of emotions, suppress it, and then there's these layers of emotions that are there, and finally sometimes when you want to experience that emotion, you are like, okay, I don't know which emotion I should be experiencing now. So I think this reminder that you've given us is to embrace the emotion. Take a walk, go to the nature, spend some time in the mountains, go for a, sit down and do meditation and try to allow these emotions to flow through you so that you can finally realize what it is that is stopping you. What is that internal blockage that you're having, and to understand that, I think releasing emotions is a good starting point.
Yeah. And you don't have to look for a specific emotions. Just take any that comes up. There's always one emotion there. We're full of emotions all the time.
Mhm.
Right now, you feel something. I feel something. Just take that. It doesn't have to be a big fancy emotion. Just any emotion.
Yeah, lovely. I love that. It's such a perfect way to kind of wrap up this conversation, because when a lot of us, many people, that is, even our listeners today would agree, are afraid to face emotions because emotions make, they say, or it's been said that emotions make you vulnerable. Some emotions make you vulnerable, and they only focus on the emotions that make them feel happy, make them feel good, and suppress the emotions that have to be actually dealt with. So this was a
Exactly.
good wake up call to start noticing our emotions.
I hope so.
Great. So before we wrap up today, Daniel, tell us one thing that you would like us to apart from being aware of our emotions, what else would you like to tell our listeners today?
Um, I think I said what I had to say. Remind yourself that you're a powerful being, that you don't need to be afraid of anything. This is your home. This is your natural environment. You're the king of the planet. So be the king or the queen.
I love that. Be the king or the queen of your planet. Lovely. I love that. It's such a perfect way to wrap up this conversation, Daniel. I thank you so much for being here today. And if our listeners need to get in touch with you, I'm going to go ahead and share a link to your website and your LinkedIn profile in the podcast show notes so that they can reach out to you if they are looking to deal with their emotions with an emotions coach, someone who is particularly working in that particular area. So thank you once again, Daniel, for being here with me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
This is such a powerful way to wrap up this conversation, Daniel. Thank you so much for being here today on the Dream Career Freedom podcast. Listeners, thank you so much for being here today. So be aware of your emotions and live your life intentionally. Thank you for listening. Tell us, what is that one small step that you can take to start understanding your emotions and using them to your advantage so that you can start planning a career you love? Comment on the podcast show notes and let me know. And for our listeners who want to be connecting with Daniel, I will be sharing links on how you can connect with him to learn more about him. This is your host, Fatima, from the Dream Career Freedom podcast. I trust you found this podcast useful, and I believe we've been able to inspire you with this conversation in a very simple way so that you can get ahead in your career and finally do what you're meant to do. Now, if you're about to go into an interview, change your current job, or plan a new career path, you can visit our website www.fatimawilliams.me and register for our upcoming webinar, and also join our VIP community where we share inspirational stories and posts. I'll catch you in the next episode. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify. Have a wonderful day.